Hello everyone, welcome to this series on cultural studies, and in this video we are going to discuss Bolekaja criticism. Introduction. Bolekaja criticism, a term coined by Shinwaizu and Medbushke, is rooted in Yoruba phrase, "Calm down, let's fight." However, it extends beyond mere intellectual combat to encompass a more Afrocentric cultural nationalism. This video explores Bolekaja criticism, focusing on its principles, aims, and implications for African literary production and interpretation. Principles of Bolekaja criticism. Afrocentric cultural nationalism. Bolekaja criticism is deeply committed to Afrocentric cultural nationalism. It emphasizes the importance of African cultural values and traditions in literary production and criticism. The manifesto, issues and tasks in Toward the Decolonization of African Literature outlines the goals of this movement, highlighting the need for African literature to be autonomous and reflective of African life. Critique of Eurocentric criticism. Bolekaja criticism offers a resolute critique of Eurocentric literary criticism, which often imposes universalist assumptions on African fiction and poetry. It contrasts Eurocentrism by advocating for a supportive role for critics who should provide writers and audiences with knowledge of traditional African literature and its values. Evaluating supportive criticism. Role of imitation. A key aspect of supportive criticism in Bolekaja is the concept of imitation. Writers are encouraged to draw on African oral discourse to capture the essence of African life in their works. Similarly, critics are expected to support these efforts by offering insights into traditional African literature, explaining why certain elements are valued and how they can be effectively used in modern literature. Emphasis on moral discourse. Bolekaja criticism places significant emphasis on oral discourse, preferring 20th century African diction and idiom over Anglo-modernist influences. This focus aligns with the movement's broader aim of preserving and promoting African cultural identity in literature, opposing the homogenizing effects of Eurocentric literary standards. Cultural specificity and political inspiration. Cultural specificity. Bolekaja criticism insists on the cultural specificity of African literature, advocating for the pursuit and defense of difference. This approach recognizes the unique cultural context of African literary works and resists the imposition of external, often Eurocentric frameworks of interpretation. Political inspiration. While Bolekaja criticism is often seen as an ethnic model, it also draws inspiration from broader political concepts, such as the nation and the continent. This supra-ethnic perspective underscores the movement's aim to foster a sense of unity and shared cultural identity among African nations, transcending ethnic boundaries. Limitations and challenges. Debt to European epistemologies. Despite its Afrocentric stance, Bolekaja criticism is not entirely free from European influences. Its cognitive apparatus, mimeticism, and cultural national ideology owe much to European history and theories of art. This dependence raises questions about the movement's ability to formulate a truly independent hermeneutic for African literature. addressing eclecticism in African cultural practices. Bolekaja criticism struggles to develop a hermeneutic that accommodates the diverse, eclectic nature of African cultural practices. The movement's focus on traditionalism and cultural specificity can sometimes overlook the dynamic and evolving nature of African literature, which incorporates various linguistic, generic, and expressive forms. Conclusion: Bolekaja criticism's commitment to Afrocentric cultural nationalism and critique of Eurocentrism offer valuable insights into the cultural specificity and political dimensions of African literature. However, its reliance on European epistemologies and challenges in addressing the eclecticism of African cultural practices highlight areas for further development. Bolekaja criticism remains a significant, albeit complex, approach to understanding and promoting African literary production and interpretation. So this was the discussion on the term Bolekaja criticism. We will meet in the next video and discuss some other term. Until then, goodbye and thank you.